Welcome to Jesus Changes Everything, a daily podcast dedicated to providing a fresh look at the ancient and glorious truth that Jesus not only reigns, but is busy about the business of bringing all things under subjection, that celebrates the wonder and the glory that he has been given all authority in heaven and on earth.
One of the strategies of the devil is to make God's people feel stupid and ashamed in their stupidity. It has been going on for centuries that Christians have been painted as ignorant, as superstitious, as deplorables. And it seems to be getting particularly intense in our own day. We have sitting in endowed chairs at prestigious universities, scholars who look down their noses at the rest of us, academics who champion various and sundry theories, and who labor to get us to give up what people used to believe in order to become sophisticated and modern. Well, one of the ways that we're called to fight back against the craftiness of the devil is simply to not fall for his tricks. It may be the meta-narrative or a general trope out in the world that Christians are ignorant hicks, but we're not. Not because we are sophisticated like the sophisticated, not because we are academic like the academics, but because by God's grace, we tend to be those who believe what used to be known as common sense. Let me put it to you this way. There is an Ivy League school in Philadelphia. It is called the University of Pennsylvania. The Ivy League is the most academically prestigious conference or association of schools, colleges, and universities in the United States. It includes Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Brown, Penn, Cornell, and maybe Columbia. I can't remember for sure, and I might be missing one more. Dartmouth. And at the University of Pennsylvania, these folks that, again, have these endowed chairs, who have PhDs, whose students are the cream of the crop in terms of SATs and GPAs and well-rounded resumes. Here's how smart they are. They can't tell the difference between a boy and a girl. Well, how do I know this? Well, because the University of Pennsylvania fields a women's swim team whose best swimmer is a man. Just recently, by the way, it's not just Ivy League schools, this kind of nonsense has gotten so far that now it is consensus among that institution that oversees sports in the largest American universities, the NCAA, which welcomed the swim team from the University of Pennsylvania, and more specifically, this man from the women's swim team, into their national women's championships, where this man outswam his female competitors in the 50-yard, I can't remember what particular stroke it was. This is a man. And this is we're living in a world where supposedly if you're smart, get this, if you're smart, you think that man is a woman. And if you don't think that that man is a woman, then you're not only dumb, you're bigoted and hateful. I saw a headline today on Twitter that some of the male swimmers' female teammates are a little bent out of shape because when the young man is in the locker room with his female teammates, he is not being careful to cover up what the girl swimmers call his male genitalia. So how is it that we can affirm that someone has male genitalia, that such a thing exists, and a person has it, it's a female? It's because they're not smart. Not long after this swim meet, this co-ed swim meet, we had another illustration of the same kind of nonsense where a particular woman who I think recognizes that she is in fact a woman, Judge Jackson, who has been nominated for a seat on the Supreme Court, was going through the process of Senate confirmation hearings. Now, we're used to these hearings, and Judge Jackson was asked a really difficult question, one that I'm sure you wouldn't want to have to answer yourself. She was asked this by a female senator. Would she give a definition of a woman? Now, keep in mind, this is not just someone taking it off the street. This is not Jay Leno doing on-the-street interviews. This is a woman who's being proposed that and nominated to serve on the highest court in the land, who will be given, if she should pass this process, a seat among the other 8 jurors who are the highest court and who sit in those seats for life. And she's asked this question: could you please give me a definition of a woman? This is how she answered: I don't know. Not, I don't know how to answer that. Not, I don't know if I want to answer that. Just, I don't know. She went on to say, I have a religious view that I set aside when I am ruling on cases. I have a religious view that I set aside when I am ruling on cases. Really? This woman who would be a Supreme Court justice doesn't know what a woman is. Well, allow me a 30-second diversion here. It prompted me to write a little poem and put it up on Twitter. If you don't already, you can follow me on Twitter at RC Sproul Jr. Really complicated to remember. Here's what I posted today. Oh, I forgot to mention this too. She did give a reason for why she doesn't know. She said, I don't know. I have a religious view. She said, I'm not a biologist. Okay. So apparently you have to be a biologist in order to know what a woman is. Here's my poem. I am not a biologist nor Supreme Court nominee. I am not a doc, nor do I play one on TV. Holiday Inn Express is not where I last stayed. But I do know what's a failing grade. If you don't know a lady from a gent, your mind is sick, twisted, bent. That's my poem. Now, I don't want to puff us up with pride as Christians. There's no reason for us to boast that we're smart enough to be able to tell a boy from a girl. That's a pretty simple thing. Every human being who walked on the planet for the last 6,000 years, up until a few years ago, every single human being knew what a woman was and what a man was. And now the cultural elites are not running around saying, oh, don't let us be the cultural elites. We need to retire from this posture of pride and intellectual arrogance because we're so dumb that we don't know a boy from a girl. No, they're saying, we don't know a boy from a girl, and you're dumb if you think you do. I want you to understand that this does not happen in a vacuum. This happens. This grows out of Romans 1. An unregenerate man's need to deny what he knows so that he might mentally be able to escape what he knows, what's coming, the judgment of God. Their minds, according to the Lord, are handed over to foolishness. When you see these academic robes or these judicial robes, what you ought to see is the fool's hat with the little bells dangling on it. This is nonsense. These people are in a fit of hysterical nonsense. These are the same people who told us the science shows that masks do nothing. And we're going to make you wear the mask. I want you to see where unbelief leads to. Where we end up when we will not have God in our thinking. We end up blithering idiots. You have every reason to have zero fear of the intellectual weight of those people selling this cultural nonsense. You have every reason to believe the truth is knowable, that you know some of it, and that those who deny that which is obvious do so not because of their intelligence, not even because of their ignorance, but because of their wickedness. Don't be afraid, and don't believe the hype.
You've been listening to the Jesus Changes Everything podcast, a production of Dunamis Fellowship, the teaching outreach of Dr. R.C. Sproul Jr. If you've enjoyed this podcast, we encourage you to subscribe, which you can do at all the usual outlets, to tell your friends, and to spread the word. To learn more about the work of Dunamis Fellowship, please visit rcsproulJR.com. And join us next time on Jesus Changes Everything.